Hello everyone and welcome to Managerial Accounting. My name is Anne Marie Anderson. I'll be your instructor for this online course. What I'd like to do with this video is to give you a start and let you get a little bit acclimated to your course and where your materials are and all of that kind of good stuff. So the first place you would go is to Web Study. Alright, and this is what you see when you go to rvcc.webstudy.com. I'm a fan of Chrome. You can use whatever you like, Internet Explorer, Firefox, but Chrome and Firefox seem to do better than Internet Explorer for this website. So you have some instructions here. Your username is your G number, and your password would have been given to you by Raritan. If you've had an online class before, then it's the same password that you've used in the past. Alright, so if you don't have a password for some reason, you could request Web Study support, and they're actually very quick and very helpful with getting you online. So this is my G number. You'd input yours and you'd input your own password. Now I obviously have a lot more going on here than you might have in here, considering I have all these courses, but you would click on your course, and this is it for this class. And let me make it so I see it the same way you guys see it. Oh, still. This is the course homepage. There I am. Here's my name, and here's your welcome to your online class. On the side here, you won't see these bottom tabs. These are only visible to me, but you will see all of these tabs right here, and these are your primary tabs you'll be working with. The About tells you everything about the class, right? Again, mine looks a little different than yours will. But the main place you're going to spend your time is going to be in this timeline and in the forum. So if you click on timeline here, and I think now I can make it so that I can see the same way you guys can see it. There we go. I can switch to student view. Alright. So what you have in here is, oh, now we're back to the beginning. Sorry about that. Click on timeline again. So this is what you will see exactly, because this is the student view. Here's a little bit of an intro about where everything is, just my introduction to the class. Just take a few minutes and read it. And what you've got up here is the syllabus, which I'm also going to email you, and timeline schedule. So I would print them both, write these down in your calendar, put them in your phone, whatever you need to do to get started, put them in there. So what you'll see initially is you'll see the Getting Started, which is the best place to start. And I kind of give you a brief synopsis of everything in the course. Alright, and I tell you where to go, and I also tell you to post your introduction at the end of this in item number 6. If I were to click on this forum button here, it says here's the introduction. What it's going to do is it's going to take me to the forum page where I tell you what I expect you to say in the forum, what I expect you to tell me about, and I tell you what my requirements are for the post, that I expect you to post an original post and have 2 response posts to other students. The other way you can get to the forum, you'll always be able to get to the forums through this timeline page and clicking on these links, but you can also just go to the forum tab and access any forum directly there. Alright, so in number 2 I have some information about buying the book, and I've also emailed this to you. Here's a file on the buying the book and homework instructions, but you'll get all of those with the email I'm sending to you today. In here you've got the statement of cash flows, which is your first chapter that you're working on. And again, I give you a brief introduction. I tell you what you need to do to complete the session. You need to read the introduction, review the learning objectives, read the chapter, and so on. And here's the materials that are attached here. So here's the learning objectives that I ask you to read for each chapter. But here's really one of the most important parts of this. What I've done is I've prepared screencasts just like the one you're listening to today for all of the material in this class, in everything. So the same lectures I'd given in a classroom, I've recorded and I've included here. So you can click on each one of these. They are .avi files, so sometimes Mac users have a hard time with that, and they can usually download something called a VLC reader. It's V as in Victor, L, and C as in cat reader, and it's a free download, and that is enough to convert the AVI files to those that can be listened to on a Mac. But here's the material, so you'd click on each one of these, and they're not too terrible to listen to. They're about 10 minutes each. And here again is that link to that forum for chapter 14, and you do have a requirement for posting your homework questions or discussions about the chapter for each chapter in the class. I'm going to send you a separate email in Web Study once the class starts telling you a little bit more information on those requirements, but I do list them in the syllabus. Now all of these other things in here, counting games, animated examples, crosswords, e-lectures, which are lectures by the publisher, flashcards, quizzes, quiz bowl, which is kind of a game, and this multiple choice quiz here, you'll note that there's optional underneath all of them. And that's because they are just that, they're optional. They're additional tools to help you with your learning of the material. Even this multiple choice quiz here is not a requirement of the course. I won't see your grades on that. You can take them as many times as you like, and it might be helpful to you to do so because they are publisher questions, and I do pull my exams from publisher questions. So it would kind of give you a feel for what the questions might look like. Now, as far as what this assignment here is, these are going to be your grades for each chapter. So this is going to be the grade for your online homework, which I'll show you where that's going to be done in a minute. And this is your grade for the discussion requirement for this particular chapter. You could also click on the grades tab here and see all of those grades. All right, but those are your direct links to those grades. And you have the same thing with chapter 15. All of the chapters follow the same format. You've got your introduction, you've got your learning objectives, you have your screencasts for the chapter. Again, they're about 10 minutes each. And you have all of your optional materials. All right, and your exams and your homework will be done in something called Cengage. And here's some information on your exam. You'll have 120 minutes to take it. It'll be 40 to 50 multiple choice questions. You do take it online, so it is basically open book because there's really no other choice unless I were to make you guys come into Raritan to take them, and I don't want to do that because it's an online course. You will throughout the semester have individual posts that I ask you to do. So the first one that you have due is on February 27th, and it's about supply chain management. And I ask you to watch a YouTube video, and I ask you to comment on it, and you'll see the instructions for that in the forum for that post. Okay, so as again, here's the link to the video, here's the forum link, and here's the grade for your assignment once it's done. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything. I will send you news occasionally, and they'll look like pop-ups when you originally log in. And if you ever want to go back to look at any of those are in this news tab. So here are the forums, right? The timelines where you can link to just about anything. Here are the forums if you want to go directly to them. Here's any links that I might have posted. I really don't use this too often because I embed my links within the documents themselves. The grades tab, you can look at your grades at any time, and your news if I send you individual news items. Okay, so from there, let's go into Cengage for a second. There are a couple ways to get into Cengage. I have a habit of going to www.cengage.com/SSO. Too many M's. Darn it. Hang on, that's not going to work. Let's try that again. Okay. And it takes me to this page here. Your website, often the instructions I see students use or the access they see them use is cengagebrain.com, which I guess is what the book tells you to use. And that's totally fine. It'll get you to the same place. So once you sign in, you see something different. You see a couple pictures of books, and you have an open button next to the picture of the book. I access it, again, a little bit differently. I wish I could show you how you access it, but unfortunately I can't access it as a student. So when you log in, you'll see the assignments that are open, and you're going to see a lot of them, basically because all of my assignments except for the tests are open immediately. Alright, if you clicked on courses, you should be able to see the courses you're registered for. I have a lot of them. But if you click on assignments, you'll see all of your assignments. You'll have your chapter 14 homework, and you'll also have this PSP, and I'll explain that in a second, but you have chapter 14 homework, chapter 15 homework, and a test, chapter 16, 17, 18, and so on, and a test. Alright, I have them all open except for the test that I have open and closing on specific days. Everything definitely does have due dates, but as far as when they're available, everything's available right from the get-go. So if you wanted to get a head start on chapter 16, but my timeline still has you working on chapter 15, you're welcome to do so and start early. Alright, now as far as these PSPs, this is your true homework, the homework that I have assigned to you. These PSPs are basically extra credit onto your homework. They are study plans. PSP stands for Personalized Study Plan. And what they are is they're kind of quizzes and assessments on where you're weak and where you're strong, what do you know in the chapter, what don't you know. And it's just that. It is a study plan individualized to your strengths and weaknesses. You take a pre-test, you do some work that gets you more comfortable with the material, and then you take a post-test. So let's say, for an example, that's how the grades work in here. Let's say for your homework, your Chapter 14 homework, you had a 95 as your grade. All right, and you couldn't figure out the remaining 5 points and decided you were happy with the 95. If you got an 80% on this personalized study plan, what I would do is I would take 8 points and add it to your homework grade for that chapter. So rather than a 95, you'd have a 95 plus the 8 points from the study plan. That would get you to 103, and that's the grade I would record in the grade book for that chapter's homework for you. So it's basically built-in extra credit, and it's there to help you study for the exams. So the study plans I have open all the way up until the date of the exam. So for example, Chapter 14 closes on February 9th, but the study plan is open through February 18th, which is when the test closes. And I leave it open that way, as I said, so it gives you an extra way to study for that exam. Okay? The last thing I want to mention to you is that in here you've got study tools. And in the study tools section, you have your ebook, and you also have, again, these games in here. And they may sound, you may think, well, that's silly, I don't want to play a game. But in reality, I've watched my children play quite a few games to study, and it makes it more of an enjoyable experience for them. So they're here for you if you so choose to study that way. All right, and it's chapter by chapter, so you would just have to select which chapter you're working on up here. Other than that, I think we're done. If you have any questions, you can email me directly. You can either email me through WebStudy, which there is a mail feature up here, or you can email me to my Raritan account. Now, WebStudy I'm going to log into once a day, maybe twice a day, but my Raritan email, I'm online all the time, so you can email me directly there, and that's fine. Okay, so I look forward to the start of the class, and hope we all do wonderfully. I hope I can give out a class full of A's. Have a great week, and I'll see you on February 3rd.